If you don't cooperate, then we get to kill you.
Bien, dis-moi-le bien, y a pas de problème.
Je m'attends. Pas le tuer ça, donc il est trop.
Money, war, and loyalty. Just a normal day for the world's toughest gangs. There are many different breeds of gang, from murderers and robbers to mafia members and police-hating mobs. But whoever they are all dangerous. And one of the deadliest is from Papua New Guinea. PNG is home to hundreds of tribes. Tribal conflict and bloodshed is just a part of everyday life. In its capital, Port Moresby, the rich hide behind razor wire, while the poor live in sprawling shanty towns. With such a divide, a dangerous and criminal gang is the Rascals that filled their way out of the slums. The Rascals are responsible for thousands of crimes every year, from bank robberies with M16 machine guns to rape and car hold-ups by mobs armed with machetes. With this attitude, the Rascals are a feared group, and entering their habitat is treacherous and ill-advised. But, with the help of a local fixer, our crew arranged to meet a dangerous gang member deep inside the Rascal territory. Because he could be targeted by the cops, he asked to remain anonymous.
My gang's called 007.
And how many of you are in the gang?
Shit. It's more than 100.
There are over 50 rascal gangs in Port Moresby who commit violent and brutal crimes.
Like hold-ups and car thefts. We have the money and if you disturb or stop us to get the money, we kill you. It could be anybody, men, women or children.
Do you worry about killing another person or do you not?
No, I don't. How can I worry when there's plenty of people around?
Rascal gangs are well armed, often with homemade guns made out of water pipes and umbrella springs.
Do you own a gun?
Yeah, I do own a gun. It's a homemade gun, like I told you.
Have you ever shot anybody?
Yeah, but I didn't kill anyone yet. Maybe I attempt to, but I didn't successfully kill someone yet.
With this casual attitude to killing, the Rascals spread terror across PNG. And one of the most feared crimes is carjacking. This footage, shot by an Australian reporter, shows the Rascals in action.
Sometimes we just stand by the road, and if you drive in to the shops or maybe your house, they just run after you, put a gun on your head, take you out of the car, get your car and go.
Take him. Take him over. Take him over.
If you don't cooperate, then we get to kill you. There'll be no warning shots.
Take him.
We're gonna shoot you on the spot.
PNG's gangs may be ruthless, but according to this rascal, the police force is equally unforgiving.
There's police there doing police brutality, but we don't give a fuck about it, you know? It feels like normal in this country. Yeah, everyone gets brutalized by police.
Do you fear the police at all?
Yeah, when the police catches us, it depends on them. If they want to shoot you, they shoot you. If you make a serious crime, they get to blow your legs off. In Papua New Guinea, everybody breaks the law. Even the very own people that makes the law.
In response to these allegations, the police said there's no place in the constabulary for officers who abuse members of the public. They investigate all claims of abuse, and corrupt officers have been sacked and even imprisoned for abusing the law. The police in PNG are continuing their efforts to take action against anyone involved in brutality. To some, the rascals are seen as local Robin Hoods. These gangs have become more and more organised, with key leaders being major targets for the police. One of these gang bosses was William Capis, and he's just been captured by the Port Moresby CID. Covered in Capis's blood, Sergeant Apollos Terry has been up all night. But finally, he has his man.
Okay, basically what happened last night was my men moved into the area. We stopped them, we approached them in a very cautious way. He was considered dangerous and armed as well. So when we moved in, he tried to escape, so we wounded him. And he was taken to the hospital last night, treated, and is now currently behind bars. I am pleased, and at the same time I am tired.
Security has been stepped up around the station, as Capis has a history of breaking out of prison.
He was actually caught on several occasions, locked up in the cells, and he managed to escape from this. So we're taking every precaution so that he does not escape again. We normally keep the most dangerous one in a separate cells. That's the CID cell, so he's currently in one of those cells, separate cells.
But there's not much chance of him escaping this time, as later that afternoon, even the cops can't open the cells.
I think the guys lost the key to the cells, so we tried to get the doctors and the medical team to attend to him, but they could not simply because the key to the lock was misplaced.
Eventually, a solution is found.
So the guys just went in there and cut the lock off, and they're attending to him now.
CID may have taken out Capis, one of PNG's most wanted men, but the country is still plagued by deadly criminal rascal gangs. They terrorise the community with daring robberies in broad daylight. So with only around 4,900 officers in the entire PNG force, policing a population of over 6 million people is an uphill battle. And even if the cops do lock them up, they might not have to suffer the horrendous conditions for very long. The rascal that spoke to our crew alleges there are ways of avoiding jail.
And the last job I did took me in prison. Fuck. Yeah, it was like break and enter, hold up, and car theft. But I escaped it. I paid the policeman to get my way out. Because if I don't, then I'll be in the prison. So I gave him a 50 and I came out. He got that money and accepted with a smile, and I made no big deal out of it.
50 kina is the equivalent of just $18.
Even police need money, you know? They don't get highly paid. How can you live with 300 kina when there's 3,000 kina offered to you for free?
In response to these allegations, the police said they recognise there have been instances where prisoners have escaped from police custody in suspicious circumstances, and these cases are under investigation. If these allegations are proved, they'll review their procedures to ensure this doesn't continue. In the settlements, there's little option but a life of crime, so there's no end to the violence in sight.
I don't kill for fun. I kill for money. Who cares about the victim? Everyone's a victim. Everyone needs money to survive. If you don't have money, you might as well kill another person to eat his flesh.
And the police will always be the enemy.
You have every right to shoot a policeman. Who cares? You shoot them, they shoot you. And we are Papua New Guinea. We're meant to break the law.
On the west coast is the USA's second largest city, LA. They call it the City of Angels, but there's more to this metropolis than bright lights and Tinseltown glamour. Los Angeles is a melting pot of crime. The cops here face everything from robberies to mass public disorder. But worst of all, they face some of the world's toughest gangs. Violence, shootings and murder are just part of everyday life in South Central LA. The two most infamous gangs are the Bloods and the Crips.
Crip to the heart, man.
The Crips emerged in the early 70s and are identifiable with their blue colours. The Bloods, whose colour is red, were formed a few years later to rival the Crips. Since the 80s, more than 10,000 gang members have been killed in LA, and many under the age of 21. Along with large numbers of Hispanic gangs that populate the city, gang crime has been the major problem facing the LAPD. This is one of the LAPD's gang units. They're on a mission to clean up the city's most dangerous neighborhoods.
Hit the curb.
The LAPD's main problem in tackling gang crime is that there's always a steady supply of recruits ready to sign up.
I see all these guys hanging out right here in front. They're all gangsters or gangsters' family. For the older guys, it's easier or beneficial to recruit the younger up-and-comers, so to speak. Say, okay, you want to earn your stripes, go out. You know, anybody who's deemed to be or labeled a shooter, in other words, someone who will go out and actually shoot someone, has instant credibility amongst their gang. Because not every gang member has the guts or the backbone to go out and do a shooting.
They need to make sure that any possible gang involvement is nipped in the bud. Keeping on top of the gang problem is all about suppressing their activities, being proactive and not reactive. The unit have been called to a stop search of a known gang member.
These guys are both on parole, which means they have search conditions. So at any time they're stopped by any police officer in California, they're subject to search, their car is subject to search, as well as their house.
The man claims to no longer be in a gang.
There ain't nothing. I be in school every day.
What are you studying?
Business science.
But the cops believe he's still a major player.
The intelligence that we have on the older of the two with the ponytails, he's a member of the A. Trey Hoover Gangster Crips. He's been a member since 1985. Because of the amount of time he has in the gang, he has instant credibility on the street. And if he was to tell a new member to do something, they would do it out of respect for him and his position of authority. Because of his time in the gang and seniority, so to speak, he's one of the shot callers supplying a lot of narcotics in the area, as well as he's one of the go-to guys for guns. So the likelihood of us one day stopping him and having a gun in the car is there.
The search has found nothing and the man is released. But like many who claim to be reformed gangsters, he's very much on the cops' radar. It's not too difficult for the cops to spot gang members, as they're easily identified by their tattoos, although some are in the most unusual places.
Aaron just got put on, so he's tattooed his eyelids. That's brand new. When'd you get that done?
I can't tell you.
Well, this week.
It's like 6, 7.
What does that mean?
Neighborhood crib.
Christian got put on when he was what? 13, 14? He put on? He went for a boot camp where my partner was an instructor. Anyway, part of the deal was he gets his tattoos removed, but he's still hanging out. He's from 6, 7 neighborhood Crips, so he's got 6, 7 on each side.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Here he has his rival gangs, hand sign whacked out. Helping these fuck Hoovers. How many times have you been shot?
I don't even know. I lost count. But it's bullet holes every fucking where. Look at the telephone. Look at motherfuckers' cars.
Why not?
But it's cool though. I don't even want them to find the motherfucker if I get killed. I don't care.
Is it a dangerous place to live?
Hell yeah, it's the most dangerous place on earth.
How high were you when you did that?
I wasn't sober.
You were sober? Really? It's all right. What'd your mom say?
My mama dead. She ain't say shit.
Good thing.
Not really.
Turn around. Take off.
England, bro.
Take what off?
Take off.
Popular in England, bro.
I was about to say, y'all looking at my ass again? He told me to spread my cheeks and bend over. Him and his other homie.
If you truly want to disconnect, you can. You can go get your gang tattoos removed, or you can get them covered up, and you can change your lifestyle if you choose to do it. But as long as you're in the neighborhood and you're still dressing and wearing the colors and flying your tattoos, then you're not out of the game no matter what you say.
But when your face is covered with them, that's easier said than done. Homeboy is a project which for many gang members is a way out from life on the streets. It includes a free tattoo removal service.
Anyone off the street can come in. If your tattoos are gang related and they're like on your face, the front of your neck or your head, you know, you're obviously a walking target. So we try to get you in as soon as we can. Even if you were to stop by today, we'll try to get you in today.
Today, Ismael de Santiago is in the chair. The ink is lasered out of his skin, in a process which has been described as like having hot chip fat hitting your face.
It's okay. That's all right. The body can only take so much sometimes.
The laser sends short pulses of intense light into the top layers of the skin. The energy breaks the ink into small pieces, which are later naturally removed by the body's immune system. Tattoos are painful enough going on. It's even worse taking them off. Ismael was once part of the LA gang called London. He recently spent time in prison, only being released 3 weeks before today. Now he's moving on. By removing his tattoos, he's turning his back on crime and trying to be a better man. But with over 4,000 homicides in LA during 2012, not everyone will be so lucky. Paris, one of the most iconic cities in the world, home to the Eiffel Tower and 11 million people. The French capital is a mecca for tourists, with almost 28 million visitors a year, lured by culture, cuisine and a certain je ne sais quoi. But Paris also has a dirty little secret. For years, many of the deprived citizens in the French suburbs have harboured animosity towards the police and French authority. Out of this hatred, various deadly gangs have risen up, some of whom are responsible for vicious crimes and bloody murders. Others for some of the worst civil battles in modern France. But all of these gangs have one thing in common. If someone stands in their way, violence ensues. Like in 2005, when Paris saw one of its worst cases of rioting and gang violence. The riot started when 2 teenagers were tragically killed by electrocution in a chase with the police at a local power station. The deaths caused outrage in the banlieue and provided the spark and opportunity for some of Paris's gangs to rise up. They fought with police for 20 days, setting fire to almost 10,000 vehicles. The revolt spread nationwide. A state of emergency was declared, with over 100 police officers injured, nearly 3,000 people arrested, and over 200 million euros of damage. On the front line of the riots was Zid, one of the heavies in the suburb.
Ici, c'est la phrase magique. Nique la police. C'est la phrase magique. Partout, il y a marqué fuck police, nique la police. Pourquoi? Parce que ils nous aiment pas. C'est réciproque. Ah ouais. Un gros fuck police. Fuck CRS. CRS, c'est la police qui, quand il y a les émeutes.
The gangs in the banlieue are feared by many, and the crew are not 100% safe.
Des endroits vraiment, faut pas filmer. Vous allez voir, de toute façon, les cris vont partir et puis ils baissent la caméra.
But before trouble can even start, the French authorities show us how they police these tough neighborhoods.
On va couper la caméra comme je vous avais dit.
With their guns drawn, the police start to search Zid and his friends.
Monsieur, vous pouvez tourner la caméra.
Ils cherchent la merde, ils provoquent, ils nous insultent, ils nous manquent de respect. Ils profitent de leur autorité. Moi, quand j'étais petit, hein, bien sûr, ils m'ont déjà mis des claques et tout, c'est clair. Ils m'ont déjà insulté de sales blagues, sales noirs. Et bien sûr, ils m'ont déjà traité et tout.
It's this antagonism
on n'est pas
between
des
the
menteurs,
police and
c'est pas arrivé
residents of
que
the
à moi, à
banlieue
beaucoup de gens, à
that
tout le monde.
sparked the riots of 2005 here. This is a video footage shot by Zid and his friends of them in action during the riots. Anarchy swept throughout Clichy-sous-Bois as images of Paris in flames were broadcast around the world.
Ici, là, cette rue, c'est la rue principale des émeutes. Les Syriens, ils étaient là-bas, en face, là, au bout de cette rue. Et nous, on était là, sur cette rue. C'est pour ça, là, il y a même les pierres, ils sont là, les pierres. Les pierres, ils sont là, et c'est avec ça qu'on se défend.
Riots happen here on a regular basis, sometimes up to twice a week, but only the major ones, like in 2005, were widely reported.
À n'importe quel moment, ça peut partir. À n'importe quel moment, une petite course-poursuite, ça finit mal. Non. Comme ça. Les gens vont leur jeter des pierres. Vous savez, qu'on a déjà vécu.
With Zid, the crew are in safe hands, or so they thought.
Si toi va vers là-bas, on va filmer pas le grand là-bas là. Bide-le pas le grand. Arrête de dire bouge, c'est toi t'as ouf. C'est toi t'as ouf. Garde la pêche. Écoute, je t'ai dit, te filme pas, garde la pêche. Bah vas-y, arrête de parler comme ça, cousin. Dis tranquillement, y a pas de problème. Je lui dis déjà, il y a des gens. Comment tu parles? Bouge. T'es un fou, moi en plus, bouge. Tu crois que je suis un bouffon quand tu me dis bouge? Vas-y, casse-toi, je bouge pas, je reste là.
Viens pas avec lui.
Parle-moi bien, dis-moi le bien, y a pas de problème. Y a des autres choses, pas vous faire filmer. Dis-moi pas bouge, mon frère. Tu me dis bouge, mon frère. T'es un peu toi, Dev. Reste tranquille, Dev, mon frère. Les couilles, mon frère. Jamais je te manquais de respect, mon frère. Tu m'as manqué de respect plusieurs fois en parlant. Jamais je te manquais de respect. Reste tranquille, cousin. Ah ouais, hey. Laisse la caméra filmer, hein. Si je vous ai dit, ça c'est le truc de la vie, tous les jours. Tous les jours à des prises de tête parce que c'est la galère.
Gangs here are dangerous, and without Zid, the crew might not have made it back.
Les gens sont prêts à t'embrouiller même. Je vous jure, vous serez tout seul là, les journalistes, vous serez venus tout seul. Hein, je vous dis la vérité. Vous voyez ici là. Il y a eu trop d'histoires qui sont réglées dans cette cave. Plusieurs caves comme ça, mais surtout cette cave. Parce que là, on vient de l'escalier, c'est dire quand il y a des histoires qui se passent mal, elles seraient ici. Quand il y a des inconnus, ils seraient ici. Je dis la vérité. Et voilà, combien d'histoires il y a eu. Combien d'histoires, je ne vais pas vous faire montrer, ça se trouve, il y a même une trace de sang là. Mais ça sert à rien. C'est la rage qui est à l'intérieur des gens. Les gens, ils ont la rage. La police, ils sont arrivés jusqu'à mettre la rage dans le cœur des gens. Avec le contrôle répétitif, avec la pression qu'ils mettent. Hein, à chaque fois, il y aura un événement, on pourra se venger sur la police, les gens, ils vont venir. C'est clair.
Today, Zid and his friends are travelling into the more well-known areas of central Paris, where they say they still feel unwelcome, making their sense of alienation from French society even stronger.
Bon, on va aller à Paris, c'est un autre truc à Paris. Hein.
C'est un autre monde.
Notre univers, c'est pas du tout la même.
Ils demandent de l'argent.
Exact, et puis voilà quoi. Il y a des endroits à Paris, ils sont interdits pour nous. À Champs-Élysées, Tour Eiffel, tous ces quartiers-là, c'est pas du tout pour nous. Par exemple, si on essaie d'aller sur les Champs-Élysées, pour se faire une soirée, on dit on va rentrer en boîte de nuit, c'est impossible. Ils vont jamais nous faire rentrer. Parce qu'ils croient qu'on est des délinquants, ils généralisent tout le monde. Ils croient que tous les mecs de banlieue, tous les jeunes des banlieues, c'est tous des délinquants.
Champs-Élysées Clémenceau.
The Champs-Élysées is one of the most expensive strips of real estate in Europe, and a place where the divisions in class and race in Paris are all too evident.
Ben voilà.
Les Champs-Élysées.
Ça, c'est les Champs-Élysées.
L'avenue de Paname.
L'avenue la plus belle du monde. Ouais. Là, vraiment, Paris, on voit que c'est beau, c'est propre, c'est la belle vie. Mais la banlieue, c'est pas du tout la même. Ils vont aller au bosquet, ils vont voir la misère, ils vont voir la saleté. Ils ne vont pas s'arrêter. Ils ont l'habitude de venir là, de vivre dans le luxe. C'est la voiture de mes rêves, quoi. La voiture de mes rêves que je vais sûrement jamais avoir. C'est ça que te représente. Ah, il y a la police, regarde. Ça poche comme jamais de police. Ah, c'est fini. Rien à voir, j'ai rien dedans. Bah voilà, c'est la fin. La fin du show, parce qu'ils ont vu aussi en même temps, c'est des jeunes blacks, tout ça, des jeunes de banlieue. C'est normal, ils stoppent.
Every action by the police, no matter how routine or harmless, can be interpreted by disillusioned young men like Zid as racially motivated. This in turn antagonizes the gangs to fight the police. So until a solution is found, the rioting will continue.
Ils ont beau faire les choses, il n'y a rien du tout qui va changer. Le mal, ça y est, il est déjà installé ici au Bosquet.
In the Balkans lies Serbia, a country that has been devastated by war and now has a new menacing threat. In its capital, Belgrade, you'll find a deadly gang, but not one you'd expect. This one is of a very different breed.
Everywhere we go, we fight with something or someone. It's the same feeling like a sex with two girls.
In sport, Belgrade is home to some big football teams, and one group of supporters are a vicious gang. They fight wherever they go, leaving mass destruction in their way.
In Belgrade, no rules. It's no rules.
So who is this gang? They are the Grobbery, which means grave diggers, and they're supporters of the football team Partizan Belgrade. They care about no one. They don't use knives or bats, they use guns. 20-year-old Kimmy joined the Grobbery gang when he was 14. He recently stood trial for allegedly setting fire to a mosque. He's now a member of a smaller gang within the Grobbery who call themselves Alcatraz.
We are Alcatraz. We are part of Grobbery. We are the strongest group on South Tribune and probably on Balkan.
Every month, the Grobbery family get together for a party. It's food, drink, drugs, and karaoke. But it's not all fun and games, because this gang are armed and dangerous.
When we have weapons, we fight with weapons. We haven't weapons, we fight with no weapons. We are fighting for the name Partizan and Grobbery.
One of the gang leaders of Alcatraz is Johnny, and he says that it's not just at the football where they fight.
So the basketball, we were many times champions of the world, and yeah, and it's a better atmosphere.
So when they're not attacking people at the football, they go to basketball. Partizan have a basketball team. This is footage from one of their biggest gangs. Trouble started in the stands. The police stormed their rival section and several fans fell down the staircase. More than 100 fans were injured. Partizan's rivalry with local teams is one thing, but they have a vicious hatred towards their country's bordering neighbours in Croatia. When asked about their feelings towards the Croatian teams, Johnny tells us a shocking story.
I don't know, they missed them. We missed them, especially our friend Žarko. We have a very strong erotic and sexual connection with them, yeah.
This story is about one of their older guys, Žarko.
Our old guard.
In the late 80s, the leader of one of the Croatians' football hooligan gang, the Torcida, came to Belgrade as a guest of the grobbery.
And after 5-4 drinks, he started to blabber.
But for shooting his mouth off, he had to pay a forfeit. They took him to the grave of a partisan legend and demanded he kiss it.
They take him and he said, kiss the grave. I don't want. Okay,
but when he refused, Žarko raped him.
You know, when you say to somebody, I'm gonna fuck you, he really mean it.
These guys were prepared to commit an unbelievable act of domination and humiliation over their rivals.
Neka razmisle kako su prolazili u ranijim našim bliskim Hrvati neka mole Boga da ne bude ta liga jer mi se dalje nismo povukli.
In Serbia, there is nothing these men won't do. Most gangs are tough, but then most gangs haven't been to war. This is Italy, a country rich with culture. One of its largest cities is Naples. It surrounds the stunning scenery of Pompeii and Vesuvius. Here, visitors flock in search of peace and relaxation, drawn by an historical romanticism that everyone knows and loves. Home to 3 former popes and the birthplace of pizza, Naples has a rich and vibrant past that has seen its city streets granted World Heritage Site status. But on these same streets, a war is raging. A criminal gang called the Camorra has grown into a rival for the state, developing a vice-like grip over the city, with business interests totaling over $200 billion a year. They're estimated to be over 7,000 active Camorra members in Naples, who operate in about 100 separate clans. 5 times as many as the Sicilian mafia, known as the Cosa Nostra. It's believed the Camorra are responsible for over 100 murders every year. Now, Italy has been forced to send in the troops to regain control of its streets. Naples is known as the murder capital of Europe. Here they have a phrase, see Naples and die. It was coined 200 years ago to describe the beauty of Naples, but now it alludes to the deadly power of the region's greatest menace, the city's criminal mafia, the Camorra. They're trying to run the city and make money any way they can. They own many of the city's textile businesses, and like in the TV series The Sopranos, the Camorra are also involved in the waste management business. In Naples, the roads are covered in rubbish. Now with the city dumps full, it's spilling out into the streets. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. For the past 20 years, the Camorra have secretly brought down toxic waste from the industrial north of Italy and dumped it in and around the city of Naples. Now, the poison buried beneath this lush agricultural farmland is seeping to the surface, affecting the region's biggest export, buffalo mozzarella.
Per quanto riguarda le bufale, delle alimentazioni, delle derrate alimentari che però vengono coltivate nei nostri suoli, nei nostri terreni, tipo l'erba medica, una quantità di diossina tale che poi si è ritrovata nel latte. Dobbiamo mangiare oggi prodotti locali, avendo questa consapevolezza, diciamo, fa un certo incute timore. Io ho paura di mangiare, infatti, perché comunque so quello che avviene intorno.
But the dumping of toxic waste doesn't just affect livestock. Amongst the residents that live near the toxic dumps, cancer cases have risen by 30%.
Tutti quanti siamo, diciamo, contaminati. Abbiamo un tale livello di inquinamento che è paragonabile a quello della radioattività, diciamo, di Chernobyl. Noi siamo abituati a vedere Napoli come una cartolina. Napoli è bellissima, è stata ridotta, la nostra regione l'hanno distrutta veramente.
Wherever you shop in Naples, there's a chance you'll be subsidizing the Camorra, as much of the city is filled with fake clothing and accessories distributed by them. One of their biggest earners is mafia tax, or piso, a monetary gift that's demanded from shopkeepers in return for protection. Silvana Facito runs a hardware store, and like 80% of the other shop owners in the city, she's been menaced by the Camorra for the piso tax. When she refused to pay, the Camorra turned up on her doorstep.
Mettevano la pistola sul tavolo, sul banco e dicevano: paghi o ti facciamo saltare, ti spariamo, proprio perché sapevamo di avere il negozio sotto un palazzo di 7 piani. Non pensavamo che potessero arrivare a tanto e mettere in discussione la vita di centinaia di persone.
Then, one winter's evening, the Camorra poured petrol through the letterbox of the shop and burnt it down.
Perché veramente posso dire che dopo 24 ore la nostra vita è completamente cambiata, ma non solo la vita nostra personale, che può essere relativa, è cambiata Napoli, è successo veramente una sorta di miracolo che ha dato la possibilità un po' a tutti i napoletani di risvegliarsi e di portare all'attenzione nazionale.
Silvana became the figurehead for the fight against Piso, an industry that earns the Italian mafia over $44 billion a year. But because of her strong stance, Silvana has been forced to accept 2 armed police guards wherever she goes, proving that if you stand up against the Camorra in Naples, you will need police protection.
Napoli è una città tormentata, una città dove niente funziona, allora è una città completamente allo sbando.
Here at police headquarters are the flying squad. Attempting to reduce the Camorra's grasp on the city, they're planning a raid on a known drug and gun dealer. The flying squad are an elite unit fighting against the gangland underworld, and with the Camorra being so organized, the squad need to move quickly. And on the busy streets of Naples, that means cars are ditched in favor of high-powered motorbikes.
Perché la situazione logistica di Napoli necessita del fatto della presenza delle motociclette, che comunque con le macchine non si riesce, soprattutto nel centro, a svolgere un adeguato controllo del territorio, sia per il traffico, sia per i veicoli stretti, sia per il tipo di criminalità che c'è, che comunque utilizza prevalentemente mezzi di locomozione su 2 ruote.
The squad don't wear helmets as the Camorra wear them on hits. This means that some officers do get injured.
Sì, appartengono a un clan camorristico della zona e durante un inseguimento in una curva in un vicoletto stretto siamo caduti e io con la mano e la strada era bagnata. Sicuramente qualche persona, i secchi d'acqua per evitare il fermo di queste due persone.
When 12 high-powered motorbikes scream out of police headquarters, it attracts a lot of attention, so they need to get to their target quickly before he's tipped off. This means that the few road rules that there are in Naples are ignored. The flying squad arrive in San Giovanni, in the notorious Secondigliano quarter, and the team of bikes approach the house. This area, 7 kilometers out of the center, is a thriving drug district where clans sell everything from cocaine to cannabis. This is a house in the middle of one of Naples' poorest neighborhoods. Yet there was gold-plated china in the cabinets, and the walls are adorned with pictures of the suspected Camarista and his family. Tellingly, the door was 3 inches of thick steel, and there was an escape hatch to the roof. Perhaps this was just an occupational hazard for the suspect. Despite having 20 police officers turning over his house, he wasn't worried.
Faccio qualche caffè. Quando fanno poco, c'è una macchinetta. Perché sono da dietro. Io sono da casa. Ma che c'è soldi stanno? Aspetta un po'. Ma che c'è soldi? Ti trovo. Sono fotografie.
Despite the vigorous search, the squad couldn't find anything and were forced to leave empty-handed. This was a perfect example of how difficult it is for the police to fight the war against the Camorra. This guy appeared to be everything a Camorrista would. Living in a palace in a poor Neapolitan suburb, walls dripping with money. But the police, unable to find incriminating evidence, can do nothing but leave. Like many of the police units fighting against the Camorra in Naples, their war is restricted by the law, and the Camorra are only bound by their ruthless imagination. And the problem with the Camorra is at its worst here, in La Vella, one of the toughest and most lawless housing estates in Europe. With 50% of the population unemployed, the Camorra can thrive. They earn up to 200 million euros every year from drug sales in this area. And it's the place where drug addicts from across Naples and Italy come to buy the cheapest high-grade heroin and crack cocaine in the EU. On the stairs of La Vella, the film crew were joined by 2 sentinels who were under orders to watch them. They didn't want to be identified. These 2 young, low-level Camorrista were at the bottom of the ladder. But clearly they were already earning enough to dress well and were probably armed.
E tu ti sai comportare con loro, con noi, pure noi ci comportiamo con loro. Però si fa una stronzata, qualcosa di questo, che i morti fanno a noi, queste cose qua.
Just below these flats are the drug-dealing piazzas, where every day thousands of addicts come to buy heroin and crack cocaine.
Casa ci fa una pilla solo per loro, da aspettare, se vai non a pigliare roba e se no
A volte ci sono anche siringhe mezzo alle scale. Per i bambini, Salerno, Benevento, Battipaglia, Roma.
Viene a Milano, però tutti i belli carica se no.
Il padre.
Il fratello.
Sta tranquillo, ok?
As the crew were leaving, they met a former addict and resident who told them what it was like to live in La Vella.
Che lo morrono sotto i porticali. Vanno a comprare la roba, si mettono sotto i porticali e si drogano. Dalla mattina alla sera le fanno queste cose qua. Ma mi sembra tranquilla, vedi? Io un po' tranquilla, ma non è così. Non li vedi, però fischi. Vieni, ci vieni. Mammina, sta in coppa, eh? La piglia un'amica mia. Va, si va, non ti preoccupare. Va Gianni, vai. Va piano piano, questo. Non ti preoccupare, zio.
La Vella is a hellhole, a haven for drug addicts. And still families were living there. The Camorra are taking advantage of the poverty-stricken Neapolitan people. This ever-resilient and organised gang are difficult for the government to fight. And by placing troops on the streets, they've admitted how huge the problem they face is. Many Neapolitans support the Camorra more than the government. And only when that stops will the Italian state win the war, and the Camorra will cease to be one of the world's toughest gangs.